Yo, what's up guys? In this video, we're gonna break down point play from Carlos Alcaraz against Rublev. All right, let's get straight into it. So Alcaraz serves down the tee. Let's take a look at Rublev's return footwork. So he takes one step forward, kind of like a gather step. Then he goes into his split step. He split steps. He goes and takes a step out to the side with his right leg, his right foot. He pivots his toes to the right side and he pushes off the right foot. And let's see the timing of when he pushes off. He pushes off the right leg. He makes contact. Then the left leg touches the ground. You can clearly see it. You can clearly see it. The left leg touches. This is a commonality that you're going to see with all of the top returners. They literally do this almost every time that they can, right? So this is something that you can immediately apply and check your footage and see, do I do this or do I not? And you can improve that literally today. Let's keep going. So Rublev hit a great ball that forced Alcaraz to give him a short ball. That's how you should be judging the quality of your shots. That's how you can judge the quality of your ground strokes. Did I hit a ball? It's not only did I hit a winner, right? It's did I hit a ball that resulted in my opponent giving me an easier shot? That's how you got to be thinking about it and judging yourself in terms of your ground strokes. Now, he got a short ball. Rublev got the short ball. Let's see what decision he makes here. He's probably going to go either down the line or cross court. Now, the decision-making matrix here is if I can hit a winner cross court, I'm going to go cross court. If I believe I don't have, a 99% chance of hitting a winner cross court, it's very simple. I'm going to rip it down the line. So let's see what decision Rublev makes from here. So he went cross court and really pulled the trigger on the cross court ball. That takes guts because Alcaraz was already in that corner. I would argue based on the fact that Alcaraz was literally in that corner. Let's even watch it back again. He gets the short ball. He goes backhand cross and he hit a really good backhand, which forced Alcaraz to hit a one-handed backhand and he missed it down the line. He was close with it, but so with Rublev there, he made a decision because he's able to execute that shot. But from a kind of lower level perspective, if you were in this situation, you should probably go down the line. If your opponent is in this side over here and you're standing over here to hit your approach shot, most likely this guy's going to be able to move to their backhand side better than going to their forehand side like this, right? Because they're already closer there. Now, at this level, at the higher level, Rublev's also factoring in Alcaraz is going to have a forehand on the run if I go down the line, right? So that's another factor. So he probably weighed, I can execute the cross-court ball amazingly, ripping that backhand from the short ball, and I can put him on the run on his backhand, and I would rather have Alcaraz beat me with a one-handed backhand on the run. If he can beat me with that, I'll take my chances there as opposed to getting beat with his forehand on the fucking run, right? Which is going to be really, really good, right? So that's kind of the decision-making process that you can kind of go through for yourself. And let's keep going. Notice Alcaraz is going through his serve routine in practice as well. Do the same thing for yourself. Notice how Alcaraz positions his right foot directly under his body, which is going to help him get a more vertical component driving up on his serve. So he serves out wide. He breaks the sideline. Look at where Rublev is returning. Rublev took risk on that serve, return, and went down the line. Now, was that a good decision or was that a stupid decision? Let's actually break it down. So oftentimes lower level players, they're coached this, and it's not wrong. It's actually good when you're starting, which is you're out of position, you're outside of the court, go back cross court, right? Maybe spin it a little bit more, hit it a little heavier, go cross court, give yourself time to recover. That's all good. That's great. But that's kind of rudimentary first level stuff there. At a higher level, there's different ways of taking risk and weighing risk and reward. So here you have to break down at a higher level. Alcaraz hits a great serve out wide. I'm on the stretch, right? And let's say I get the ball back cross court. Positioning wise, because I'm so freaking far out wide, my opponent, Alcaraz here, is going to be able to, even if I make that ball, because of my terrible fucking positioning here, I'm basically going to have no chance of controlling the rally, the rest of the rally. So maybe Alcaraz misses, whatever, but odds are I'm going to make that ball back cross, and he's going to still dictate to the other side, and now I'm on the run. He's probably going to come to net, and I'm toast, right? So start seeing kind of the bigger picture of kind of the next chess moves that are at play. So the reason why I'm mentioning that is because once you know that, now it's like, well, if that's what would happen if I realize I'm out of position and go cross, what's the alternative? Well, why would I go down the line? If I go down the line, isn't he just going to be able to go cross court and, put me on the run? 100%. If you just guide the ball and get it back. So the decision making there is whether when you're far out, when you're out of position, like in this situation, the lesson is at a higher level, you have to learn to take calculated risks. Sometimes that might look like literally like almost like slapping a ball cross court, like hitting it bigger, taking some risk to make sure that I would rather make a ball that is like actually gonna keep me in the rally rather than me just prioritizing consistency. Whereas at this level, it doesn't even matter because even if you just get that ball back, you're gonna lose off that next shot. So it actually makes sense to take some more risk here. Now, even if Rublev rips that ball back cross, like hits it huge, Alcaraz is good enough, he's going to be able to just rip it to the other side, and Rublev will be toast. He'll have no control. So kind of here, the only way for him to kind of have control over the rally here and gain that control and have the best chance of success in this rally is actually taking that decision, making that decision, and going line here. So at the surface level, it might be like, oh, that's a bad decision. He's just, slapping the ball down the line. But there's actually a real reason why strategically this type of risk taking is the best chance of him winning the point, right? You could argue it might not be the best chance of him making the ball, right? He could probably have higher percentages if he just went back cross court with some more spin. But what's the benefit of that? How is that going to benefit him in the rally? Alcaraz is just going to put it away to the other side. So he has to take some risk and realize, wait, I'm in this position. He knows kind of what would happen if he goes to this spot. So he takes calculated risk. So this is some of the higher level strategy stuff that it starts becoming more prominent higher level in juniors and then especially D1 and then obviously with all the pros. So Alcaraz breaks the sideline within the service box, which is an objective goal that you can hit yourself and train with your coaches. Highly recommend training your serve out wide to break the sideline within the service box. That's how you should train your serves out wide. All right. So one thing you can do to immediately start improving your returns and your return timing is training your returns where you're actually getting your body a little bit more close inside the court as opposed to being way far behind the baseline. What that's going to do is it's going to make it harder in practice to make your returns. You might even feel like crap the first few days you're doing this. But what you're going to notice a few days in, a few weeks in, a few months in of doing this and returning tighter into the court, maybe even a step or two inside the baseline, maybe even a lot more, depending on the level of the server, you're going to improve your timing drastically. And then when you get into points, right? When you get into, your match play, you can stand where you normally stand, right? And you're going to have a lot more time and you're going to feel like the ball's coming a little slower. So that's one thing you can do to start kind of improving your returns, all right? Is train your returns, not just standing where you normally do, but actually training your returns where you're actually more up than usual into the court. So you're forced to have better timing. And that's how you can actually speed up kind of like your brain power and be able to actually time the ball better. Notice how he went deep middle for his return. So I'm going to break down where Alcaraz made the mistake here. Even though he won the point, he made a mistake strategically. Look. So the ball, Rublev did a good job actually of keeping that ball below the net. So because the ball's below the net, I kind of get why he's going cross there. Yeah, so that was actually a pretty good shot by Rublev. However, actually, let's see. Because initially I was thinking Alcaraz should have gone line there, but I didn't realize how low that ball was. So if the ball was a little higher, he could have gone down the line and that would have been a better option for sure. Because it was lower, I kind of get why he went cross court, but he just didn't feel the ball that well there. And Rublev honestly just hit a really good shot, able to kind of pick it up and get it like low to his feet. I still think Alcaraz, his job there, when he saw that ball floating and coming to him, is your job is, I got to catch that ball before it drops, so I got to really close in tight, right? And make sure that, because like I said, strategically, I wanted him to go line there. But to do that, you got to catch the ball a little higher. So I'm thinking like he could have gone down the line here at this contact point that he made here, because he actually has quite a bit of space in front of him as well. He's not like too tight to the net where he won't be able to like get it over. So yeah, I do think that I would have prioritized keeping the ball deep on the volley instead of trying to go short angle, because Rublev actually hit like a really good shot, keeping it pretty low to him. So yeah, and he just didn't really feel it that well. But yeah, Rublev did a good job there, and then yeah, Alcaraz hit a good shot. So let's see, what could have... So look, this is what Rublev could have done here better, because Alcaraz anticipated this. Alcaraz anticipated that Rublev is going to go line here, right? This is the open court, makes sense, just thread the needle and boom, go line here. Now, say you're in this particular spot, right? And you're Rublev, and your opponent, Alcaraz, gives you a floating ball here, and he's at the net, and you're making contact here. In general, yeah, go down the line here. However, if you're playing somebody who moves fast and has good anticipation skills, like let's say they're, I don't know, above a 9 UTR, 8, 9 UTR, depending on their age and stuff, but in general, let's just say they're above a 9 UTR, and they're starting to kind of learn some higher level anticipation. Another method that you could do here, like if I was concerned about this dude might be able to do some type of reaction play like Alcaraz did here, it's very simple. I want you to take a guess. What should he do? What should he do here? What Rublev could have done is Rublev could have ripped it right at Alcaraz's chest. That would be a very difficult shot to execute, right? Maybe he makes a reaction play and can still get it back, but that is a surefire way to make it almost undeniable to win the point, where you just crush it right at the guy's chest. And that's a totally legitimate shot, no matter what anybody says. All right? Totally legitimate shot strategically to rip it right at your opponent's body. So that's what you can apply for yourself. Notice how Alcaraz takes a jump up in the air for a split step. A lot of players just do a little baby split step. That's lame. That shit is so lame. Jump into the split step so you can actually have more energy to go out to the side or go forward. It's just, do you want to make it easier for yourself or harder for yourself? If you want to have to expend more energy, do a tiny shitty split step. If you want to make it easier for your body, which is what I would want for myself, I want to give myself that advantage. Let me get some energy into it, right? And that's something that is such a low-hanging fruit for players that when I see players not do a proper split step, I'm just like, dude, number one, your coaches are fucking up. But number two is like, are you really taking your game seriously, bro? You're not even doing the easy shit. You're not even doing the easy shit that you can do for free. Doesn't cost any money to do a fucking split step. So why are you not jumping into the split step? Why are you not doing that? Maybe you weren't coached on it. Maybe you're just not having that habit being reinforced. Maybe you don't even think it's necessary. There's an argument for that. But I just don't think it's that strong. I would rather you develop it like that, have a massive split step, and then look, yeah, then you can dial it in. You don't have to do a massive jump every fucking time. But if you don't go through that process of learning that and developing that, and you can even see here at the highest level, this is what he's doing. Don't do it because Alcaraz is doing it. Do it because it's the right thing to do for you. And just by the way, side note, Carlos Alcaraz does it too, bro. Right? So think about it. And take a real look at yourself. And ask yourself, when I'm in the short court warming up, am I doing a split step? When I'm rallying from the baseline, am I doing a split step? Or am I just being a lazy bastard out there? Ask yourself that. Be real with yourself. Good open stance from Rublev. That's a good miss. That's a great miss. If you're Rublev there, that's a great miss. He just missed it a little bit long. That's just an execution error. He did the right legs. Maybe he tried to hit it a little bit too flat, but I mean, he makes those. So that's a great error from Rublev there. If you're his coach, this guy over here, you got to be positive about that. Open stance. Notice how Alcaraz places his right foot really far behind his body here. So when he pushes off, he can really explode and get a lot of that leg drive into the shot. Because you want to generate your power from the ground up. That's what the best players do. Yes, they have the right technique. Yes, they have the right biomechanics for their upper body. But if they're not generating a ton of force from the ground, it's just not going to transfer. It's not going to translate. So that's something you can also copy for yourself, is make sure you get your right foot like behind your body a lot so you can really load and explode on the open stance. Textbook play right here. Let's take a look at this play. Rublev serves out wide. Look at his shoulder, elbow angle. Rublev's shoulder, elbow angle is oriented this way. What you can look for your own serve is see, do my shoulders replicate this? Do I see my chest? If I take a camera angle from the back view, would I see my chest? Right? Would you see your chest a little bit like here? Or are you more like this? Or are you more turned? So you can check that for yourself. And see if your shoulder angle like this, your shoulder, elbow angle is tilted here, or if it's flat in a line like this. Flat in a line like this. The shoulder, elbow angle is like this slanted, or is it more flat here? And that's something that you can start to modify technically on your serve. So he serves out wide, Alcaraz returns, and notice how Rublev doesn't take 20 steps back to try to give himself more time. He stays tight to the baseline, little inside the baseline, because he wants to take time away from his opponent. Because if he takes some steps back and just hits the ball down the line like he would have here, Alcaraz would have for sure been able to get to that ball. So the lesson there is what you can replicate is you hit your good serve. Let's say it's out wide like here. You hit your good first serve. Stay tighter to the baseline on that first ball, that serve plus one combo. That will help you execute it to a higher degree, assuming you can time the ball and all of that, right? So Rublev does a great job of actually, I want to show you one more thing technically that Rublev does well too. So one thing that Rublev does really well on his backhand technically is he turns his shoulders so he can show his opponent his right shoulder blade. If you can see here, Alcaraz can literally see Rublev's back. So when you're training with your coaches, ask them, hey, when I'm hitting my backhand, can you see my right shoulder blade? Can you see my back? That's a great cue that your coaches can apply for you right now. Now, notice how when he starts on his backhand, we're going to even go back again. I'm going to show you another concept technically, all right? So, hold on, I got to go back again. So one thing technically that you can replicate on your backhand that Andrei Rublev does is very simple. Look at his left elbow here. You see how his left elbow has a little bit of bend in it. His left elbow has a little bit of bend, all right? By the way, I'm looking pretty jacked right now. So his left elbow has a little bit of bend in it. Now, when he goes to the ball, his left elbow goes from bent like this, and then he straightens the elbow as he goes to the ball. So the left elbow starts a little bit bent, doesn't have to be like this, just a little bit of bend right here. And then as he goes to the ball, the left elbow goes completely straight. So this is called having a long lever arm in your ground stroke. So take a look at contact here. Hold up, let's do slow-mo again so you can see it. Bent. Look, it's already straight. So I just want to get it in slow-mo one more time so we can see it. So if you actually notice, when he starts to turn, his elbows are actually almost straight. And then he bends the left elbow just a little bit when he gets fully turned with the edge of his racket facing forward. Now, as he goes to it, it's bent. Now it starts to extend, starts to get straighter. Look at that. His left elbow is completely straight now. He goes from bent to straight. It's completely straight at contact. Look at it. Completely straight at contact. You can apply that for yourself as well. If you can do this, it's going to help you feel a lot more drive through the ball, and you're just going to be more biomechanically efficient. Versus if you're hitting your backhand with T-Rex arms like this, you know, you can still do that. You can master garbage, as one of my mentors, Rick Macy, said. But imagine if you could get your arms more extended at contact. You're going to have a longer lever, which means you're going to get more force into it. So that's something you can replicate for yourself too. Boom. And he makes it. Very good. Very good. All right, let's continue. Oh, wow. Good wheels from Rublev there. But let's talk about this shot here. I want to talk about the pickup. So here's how you technically do a pickup. Here's how to pick up the ball when you do a half volley correctly. So notice how what Rublev did, and we're going to slow-mo this. So notice how Rublev gets his racket. He lines it up basically right on the ground. So he first puts his racket, boom, right on the ground, and then he goes up. It's a pick up, pick up. So look at how he gets his racket level, not tilted forward, not tilted up like a slice, level. Look. If you were to look at this from a side angle, his racket would look like this. It's not slanted up like a slice. It's not tilted over. Most people, they try to go too much like a slice and they try to chip down. They try to chip down on it. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. Angle it, instead of like this, like a slice, angle it more flat, like completely flat, just like you're setting a wall. And all you're going to do is you're just going to pick the ball up. You're just going to lift the racket up to time the ball. Look at him. He lets the ball come up. He lets the ball bounce off his strings. So this is even more basic. He's even going more to the fundamentals of let the ball bounce off your strings on this shot. And then he goes up a little bit with the racket. So the most basic version of it is literally just set the angle of the racket like that and let the ball bounce off your strings. Now, if you want to have a little bit better feel with it, he didn't really execute it that well, but nonetheless, his start of preparation was good. So what you can replicate is set the angle of the racket straighter here, get the racket literally on the ground, and then let the ball bounce off your strings and then lift up a little bit. That's all you got to do on the pickups. So it's really important to understand that it's a pickup, not a chip down. Very important. Make sure you're working on that with your coaches. All right, let's go back to... Notice how Rublev keeps the left hand on the racket until the ball bounces. Rublev is keeping the left hand on the racket until the ball bounces. When he lets go of the racket, look at this positioning here. His left arm is parallel with the baseline. His left arm is parallel with the baseline. His racket head is above his wrist. His right elbow, he's airing out his right elbow so his armpit can get some air. He's not tight in like this with his elbow. He's up here, his elbow is up more, and his racket stays on the right side of his body. These are all checkpoints you can check for yourself as well. It doesn't mean you have to do everything just like him, but if you're trying to figure out how can I get better biomechanics, look at your video and see, do I hit these checkpoints? I promise you, you can totally practice this enough and master this for yourself. You're literally in control of this, of how you move your body. It might take some time to be more consistent at making it a habit, but you can totally replicate these checkpoints here. Literally today, you can make a decision. I'm going to keep my left hand on the racket until the ball bounces. Or you might say, oh, I've been doing it a different way for a bunch of years and it's been... But that's why you're fucking stuck. That's why you are where you are. Because you're not continuously evolving your game and you're not taking full ownership of small things like little technical things. Right? If you're not where you want to be, why are you not optimizing your technique so that you can hit a better shot? So you can be more consistent with your preparation. Like it's just a no-brainer, right? That's why also like as a coach, if you can master being able to translate the modern ATP style technique to players, that's a very high leverage activity for you. That's what clients will pay you top dollar for. All right, let's get back into it. Notice Carlos Alcaraz. He pushes up from the ground and his chest is facing directly up to the sky as he pushes up. These players, they're not actively thinking about that, but it's something to look at in your video footage to make sure you're hitting that checkpoint. Because if you don't, if you're going up to your serve and your thoracic mobility isn't going up, right, like this, and your body isn't letting you do that, right, from the upper back, the thoracic mobility, you're not going to get as much power on your serve as if you did, right? And I've also done this for myself. I used to not do it. I learned from a coach at IMG Academy, referred to as the serve doctor, and he was looking at my footage and he was like, dude, your chest angle is dog shit. He didn't say that specifically, but essentially that's what he said. And I was like, dude, what is a chest angle? I've never heard that. I've trained at some of the best academies in the world, and no one ever told me about the chest angle, right? Which is crazy. And it was a huge shift for me because I understood. He actually made it make sense because I tried it. I looked at all the pros of the serves I want to be like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, they're doing this. And I'm not. And I've had no coach ever tell me to do that before that time, right? So there's always something to learn, guys. And for you, maybe it's this. Maybe it's this. Maybe today it's implement the chest angle on your serve. That's a good miss, though. He went cross court. He missed it a little bit deep. That's a good miss from Rublev. Distributes his weight on his outside leg. He pushes off, makes contact, and lands on his left foot. 1, 2, 3. 1, put your weight on your right leg. 2, push off the right leg and make contact. And then 3, the left foot now touches down in front. Hit those 3 checkpoints and your return will for sure be way better. Good open stance. Good cross. Cross court, go cross. He went line. It's wild. Look, look, look. Notice how I just said that. I've never watched this footage before. And I knew, bro, you got to go cross there. Let's take a look again. Let's take a look again. Yeah, so let's go back actually to the beginning of that point. I want to see how it started. Served out wide. Rublev goes to his backhand, cross. Rublev goes cross. Alcaraz goes cross again. Rublev goes cross. So Alcaraz went down the line. Yeah. So look, maybe he's just trying to go to Alcaraz's backhand. He doesn't want to hit it to Alcaraz's forehand. I get that. But strategically, you're going to leave yourself open for wounds like that if you go back down the line there. Maybe it's he just wants to go to his backhand. But what Rublev could have done there is Alcaraz goes down the line and he didn't execute a really good shot. At the pro level, that's a pretty shitty change of direction, in my opinion at least. So what Rublev could have done better is take more space away and time away by moving diagonally forward. Let me make sure the cursor's here. By moving diagonally forward this way, up to the ball, instead of just moving laterally. Because now you're giving your opponent more time to react. All right? So here what Rublev could have done is just go cross court. And then from there, then you can figure out a time to go down the line. But the shot that he hit down the line actually kind of exposed him in a big way. And I'm surprised Alcaraz didn't go cross there. But he went really good shot down the line. And yeah, went behind him there, which is a good play by Alcaraz. so let's look at what Rublev is doing here. So one kind of nuanced point, on the return is this. If they hit the serve directly to you, right? Like let's say you know it's going to your backhand, but it's directly to you. You don't need to take a step out to the side with your outside foot. So what you notice here is he split steps. He just pivots his foot, but he doesn't take an additional step. And why doesn't he do that? Because there's no benefit to taking another step to the side because the ball's coming directly to him. So the goal there is you're already in your stance, so just get in the stance, load your legs, and then make sure that you can transfer the weight where you push off the right, land on or here it's the opposite side, my bad. You push off the left, and then you land on the right. Now, because Alcaraz hit a pretty good serve to his body almost, but to his backhand, he plants on his left foot. He still has his right foot on the ground. He rotates, he rips it, he generates force, and then lands on the right foot. So, it's interesting. They just put these markers up. Interesting. I like that. So, this is a good situation actually. So, where will Alcaraz hit? So, he could go inside out, he could go inside in, he could go drop shot, he could go drop shot cross, drop shot line. Let's go back. I want to see this in full speed, and then we can make a decision there. Big serve, short ball. So this is awesome because he got the short ball. He earned the short ball from hitting a really good serve. So having a great serve is going to result in getting an easier first ball. So now he has all the options on the menu right now. So let's talk about the menu right now for Alcaraz. He's got option A, B, C, D, E right here, right? He can go to any of these locations. Now, what do I think he's going to do? He could go inside out, inside in, drop shot, down the middle, whatever. Now, because he can totally from here, he's in position, he could easily rip it inside in. He could easily rip it inside out. He has these options for sure on the menu right now. Now, from there, all that tells me is he can also use the drop shot. So when it comes to that, this is a great opportunity for Alcaraz to use the drop shot. Now, let's see what he does. I think he's going to go drop shot, all right? And I think he's going to go drop shot to D. Let's see what he does, though. Interesting. That's a good shot. So he faked, yes, he's going to rip it. He changed the grip. He's now showing his opponent that he has a continental grip. Now, if you're Rublev, and you can actually see this, Rublev is anticipating the drop, and he actually starts to sprint forward. You can see it here. He's literally starting to sprint forward, right? Look at his shin angle. It's really aggressive going forward because he's trying to go forward, right? And Alcaraz is thinking this is like 3D chess right here. He's like, this is a perfect opportunity that I could use a drop shot. So now let me not only step one, fake that I'm going to rip the ball. Step two, I'm going to fake that I'm going to drop shot. And step three, now I'm going to do kind of like that Federer shot where I go not drop shot, but forehand slice down the line. Very high level stuff. But just you first have to understand the decision making that and the options that you need to have on the menu to make this work, right? If you don't fake the first thing, if you don't fake the second thing, this isn't going to work that well, right? But he did those checkpoints, and that's why this worked incredibly. So we're going to break down even higher level strategy here of how Alcaraz could have given himself a better chance of winning this point here. Even when it was kind of like he gave the guy a really floating ball and he has no chance. Here's how you can make a decision to increase that chance. So Alcaraz returns. Rublev hits a good ball down the line. He goes cross. Rublev goes big shot down the line. He has full control over the point now. He floats it. Rublev, look at all the steps he's doing there. Look at the adjustment steps. Look at how Rublev is going forward with the toe pointing forward. He's literally only on his right leg when he's hitting the swing volley. Look at his left leg, bro. It's in the air. He's doing that because he's really balanced on his right leg and he's confident having weight on his outside leg. So first of all, you got to have weight on your outside leg when you're hitting these shots transitioning forward. Now, let's talk more importantly about what Alcaraz can do here. You're giving Rublev right now a forehand swing volley approach shot. So decision making from Rublev is, am I going to go down the line? Am I going to go cross court? He's probably not going to hit a drop shot or a short ball because he's got a forehand grip and he's already in motion of hitting the swing volley. So what can Alcaraz do here? You got to think. If I was Rublev, how would I make this decision? If I can hit a winner cross court, I'm going to go cross court. If I think for sure I can hit a winner. If not, simple. I'm going to go down the line. Based on the fact that if you're Alcaraz, I'm standing right here in the court. He has the entire court, cross court open, and it's a high floating swing volley, which is one of the most aggressive shots you can hit. And he's making contact way above the net. So he can basically do whatever he wants here. You have to anticipate, dude, he's going to go cross court for sure. Right? So if you're Alcaraz, at this moment, you have to anticipate and make a guess. And say, hey, look, I'm either going to stay here and commit fully to this and make him just execute that. And if he misses, he misses. If he makes it, he wins it. But if I was Alcaraz, I would think positioning wise, for sure he's going to go cross. So based on that, whenever that ball's floating there and you see him start to commit to the shot, you have to start sprinting full speed over here. And you have to move as early as you can because he's going to execute this shot incredibly, right? So the only chance you have is if you guess correctly, and now you guessed correctly, in that 50% chance you guessed correctly, now you're actually in position. But if you just kind of take a half-baked approach and you wait for them to hit the shot and then make a decision, dude, it doesn't matter because he's going to execute that ball so well at this level, you're going to have no chance either way. So it's better to kind of make a 50-50 guess play and overcommit to one side here, all right? So, because look, he's actually not too far from the ball, and you can see his speed here, right? But imagine if Alcaraz made a decision earlier to make a full sprint and anticipate and guess. At that level, you have to guess and go and take a chance. And then you'll get better at anticipating. You'll get better at, wait, maybe I shouldn't have gone this early, right? But the first step is guess, and then you can adjust. Guess, full sprint, full commit to one side, so you at least have a chance at that side, right? So this is higher level stuff here. It's very nuanced. But that's something that you can also apply when you give your opponents short balls that they're going to be dictating on, where they can basically put the ball away, all right? Because more often than not, they're just going to hit a winner on you and you got no chance. So what you can do is take a guess, sprint fully to that side, and now you have a 50% chance of winning that point. So there you go. Notice how he split steps and takes a step out to the right. Look at this. Notice how Rublev is literally applying what I just said, I just talked about. He gives a really short ball and he's guessing. In his mind, he's like, Alcaraz could probably hit a winner cross court here with his forehand, which is inside out, but it's still cross court. So I'm going to guess here. And at least because I'm moving early, now I have a chance. Now, if you're Alcaraz, you're going to wait for Rublev to make a decision of where he guesses and where he goes, which he should still do that. and then you go to the other side. So you see he goes one way, boom, go to the other side. Let's see what Alcaraz does. That's what he did. He waited. Rublev, you went here. I'm going to guide the ball and go here. Placement shot. Notice how he didn't crush the ball. Because he understands strategically, I just got to wait. High-level players are going to guess and go one side. And then boom, I'm going to place it to the other side. This is stuff you can apply in your junior tournaments, but you can literally apply this, and it's even more important at the higher levels. Literally at the pro levels. This is what these guys are doing specifically. So apply that strategy to yourself. Good decision to go inside out. Keeps the left hand on the racket till it bounces. Cross, good. Go. Oh, wow. You should go cross. But I want to rewind this here. Because, yeah, that was a bad decision from, let's restart it again. That was a bad decision for Rublev to go back line in that particular situation after Alcaraz didn't do a really good change of direction. Wait. Let's start it over. Serve out wide, goes cross, good. He goes kind of middle here, inside out. Floating ball, but it was still deep. So he goes back. Court. Here, Alcaraz hit a deep enough shot. So it's going to be tough to go line there. And notice because he went down the line, Alcaraz was still able to find his forehand. And now Rublev is now stretched even more on the run. Versus if Rublev went cross, now Alcaraz would be on the run. Now Alcaraz has to move. Now Alcaraz has to do something. But now Rublev is now out of control again. Right? He's at the stretch. And he went line on that. That's a wild decision to go line there. He should have gone cross. Yeah. I think he missed the shot anyway. Yeah, he missed that shot. But, yeah, it's not even like the miss that's wrong. It's that he went down the line there. He should have gone cross there. Wow. It's a short ball. Big cross court ball there. It's good. Out wide serve. Nice. Yeah, if you're Alcaraz there, look, let's see here. Wow, really good technique from Rublev. It's interesting. I mean, I feel like Alcaraz maybe could have tried to keep two hands on it and go with the two-hander, but maybe it was just too fast for him. So let's see if that was a good decision by Rublev. Wow, I really like this aggressive step and wow, look at that. Look at how he steps in open stance with his right foot forward when he goes to strike this, and he's actually really balanced. Look at his body. This dude is really balanced here. This guy's a fucking animal. Look at this, super balanced. And look, he just clipped the net a little bit, but he was actually in position there. It's pretty impressive. You know, he's taking a risk going down the line there, but, I mean, he just clipped the net a little bit. Positioning-wise, he did a pretty good job actually getting in position there. Wow. Yeah, Rublev just does not want to hit to Alcaraz's forehand. Oh my gosh. So if I was coaching Rublev here, it's very simple. This is what he's got to follow. He's got to follow this rule here. So he serves, hits a great approach shot. He's coming in. Very simple. You got to keep your legs a little wider as he's coming in, but you want to time it, take little adjustment steps, find the outside leg, push off the outside foot, all right? And yeah, that should have been a backhand volley. And you see how his legs are more like kind of closed here? He should keep his hips more open. It's going to make it easier to be versatile going either way on the volley versus his hips are closed off and he's trying to hit a forehand volley like this, right? I mean, very difficult. Yeah, that's just interesting decision to go forehand volley there. But yeah, I would recommend keeping your stance more open as you're coming forward and then backhand volley on that. Look at Rublev's aggressive chest angle here. Look at that. He's pushing up. His chest is pointing directly up to the sky. Good open stance. Wow. All right, let's do one more point.
Who's coming in the job?
All right, sweet. Well, that's it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, let me know. Drop a like, comment, subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one.